Hello, everyone. My guest today is Brett Florio. He's a full-time traveler and co-founder product manager at a company called Foxy.io. Back in 2005, he needed a way to add custom e-commerce to existing systems. As such, he launched Foxy 2 years later with the hunch that others needed the same thing. 10 years later, Foxy has handled billions of dollars in transactions for merchants around the world. When Brett's not busy with that, you can find him playing bluegrass. Brett, are you ready to take us to the top?
Yep.
Do you have your instruments laying around? I want you to play something for us.
I do. I have a whole wall right over there.
Point the camera. Can you point the camera to it, or no? Is it a fixed camera?
No, I can.
Let me see. Let me see the wall.
That looks like it's a little bit more fixed than I thought it was.
Okay, that's okay. We won't mess with it. So $1 billion in transaction volume. This is interesting. I mean, Shopify immediately comes to mind. Tell me what you do and how you make money.
So Shopify is an obvious comparison. Foxy is a bit different. We are hosted like Shopify, but we are built to integrate into existing systems. We're not a CMS. We handle just the cart and the checkout. So it's not turnkey. It's not, just choose a template and you're up in 5 minutes. What it is a hosted cart and checkout that is extremely well suited for adding to existing or preferred best of breed solutions. So if you're a web professional, and you already have your CMS of choice, your framework, or you're working within a SaaS or an LMS or what have you, Foxy can go in exactly where you need it. It's built to integrate. It does everything. So it's much better suited for highly complex, highly advanced,
highly custom
integrations.
Yeah.
Right. And also quick and easy integrations, as well as if you have your own SaaS, you can add Foxy, you can embed it, white label it, so your users get all of the power and flexibility of Foxy without ever needing to actually go to Foxy, without needing to be, developers themselves.
So this sounds a little bit more like maybe like Stripe than Shopify.
Yeah, so we support 100 different payment gateways, including Stripe. So you could say, well, I can do some of that with Stripe. You can, and then you need taxes. So, okay, now you're integrating taxes and dunning for recurring billing. Okay, now you've got that. And now, PayPal too. Well, that's a whole different integration. And Amazon Pay, another whole different integration.
And I could see with Stripe too. I mean, it's really hard to create a lot of products on the fly. If you have a big e-commerce brand, it's not easy to do that. What you're saying is you really service the e-commerce needs of folks, and that's why you're beating Stripe out on e-commerce deals like this.
Yeah, so a lot of people, especially larger businesses, aren't going to Stripe. They're using Payment Tech or Vantiv or what have you. So automatically Stripe's out. Stripe is fantastic. I don't want to give the impression that Stripe isn't a wonderful system. It just does one thing. We do more.
Got it.
But again, we do less than, let's say, Magento, and that's very deliberate and very intentional. Magento, Shopify gets you an entire website, which can be great if that's what you need. But if that's not what you're after, you get a lot of extra stuff that's just going to get in your way.
All right, Brett, you said you're a traveler and you like bluegrass. Well, bluegrass instruments cost money. How do you make money on this thing?
We charge a monthly or annual fee, as well as an additional small transaction fee. Unlike some others, it's not a large percentage, so we do cap that.
Can you share us how small it is? Like definitely under what percent?
So it's 15 cents a transaction, and that goes down. So unlike some others where it's 2%, for us, it doesn't matter how many zeros are on the end of the order total. It doesn't, whether it's a $10 order or a $1,000 order.
Okay.
We don't really feel like we're justified in taking a percentage. So
so just to be clear, let's use an example. If there was $100 e-commerce checkout system and someone's using you guys versus Shopify, what will they pay you for a $100 transaction? What will they pay Shopify?
It depends on the plan, but Shopify, I believe, starts at 2% of that. So you're looking at $2, where we cap at 15 cents and go down with volume.
Oh, interesting. So there literally is no percentage stake.
Right.
The only time where that wouldn't work out is if it was like a sale for like $1.
So
right.
So it's technically, our pricing is technically 0.5% up to a maximum of 15 cents.
I see.
So if it's $1 transaction, you're paying 0.5% or something like that. Yeah. So
interesting.
So we have thought of that. We've been doing this. We'll be 11 in April. So a lot of these things have come up
the fringe cases.
Yes, and fringe is great, except when it's shipping. We have a saying on our end. It's "I hate shipping," because you can't please everyone with shipping. So
Yeah. Okay. So 2006, you launch. You make money based taking up to 15 cents per transaction, or down to 0.5%, whatever one is cheaper for the checkout or for the customer. You also mentioned you have a SaaS model. So on average, what are e-commerce brands paying you to use your platform per month?
the huge bulk of our users are micro in the sort of micro SMB. So most of our users are just paying us $20 a month.
Okay, so $20.
But then we do have many users that are doing much higher volume, or we have enterprise users that don't necessarily do high volume, but need very specific things like multiple different payment sets in different parts of the world, different custom integrations with SAP, things like that.
But just to be clear, you think if I averaged all that together, the big and the small, you think a good average is about $20-$30?
The average is higher because when it does go higher, it goes higher. But so getting into means and medians and such. But the average user.
Let me ask this a little bit different way, because I want to understand: is there any one single customer that makes up more than 5% of your revenue?
No.
Okay, because that would give me a good sense if you're really catered towards like one big enterprise customer or something.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. No, you're at scale. Good. And okay, give me more of the backstory here. So what does your team now look like today, 11 years in?
So 11 years in, we're still a pretty small team. We're under 10. We're about half in the US, half international. Everybody is fully remote. We have very low turnover. We have a wonderful team. And really everybody on the team appreciates, we try to get people who appreciate work-life balance. We're very family friendly. It's not uncommon at all for somebody in Slack to say, hey, I'm ducking out, running to the park, or doing something with my kids, or whatever. And that's really important for us. I learned in previous business experiences, if you can't enjoy what you're doing, it's probably not worth doing if there's a better option.
No, that makes look. I love it. I think it's a healthy approach. Now, what have you scaled to today in terms of total customers or total users using the platform?
We don't share that publicly, but I'll say it's thousands.
Okay, cool. Can we put a range on? Like, can we say north of 1,000, but less than, call it 5,000? Is that fair?
Yes.
Okay, good. I just wasn't sure if you were talking like 50,000, 10,000, but
right.
Between
not
1 and 5.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So between 1 and 5, and how have you, where are you getting these folks? Is there a playbook you're following to drive customer growth? And if so, give us a little hint of how that works.
No, good question. We are admittedly not great at marketing. We're much better at building the platform and supporting it and getting something that people like to use and tell their friends about. We have done very, very little real marketing over the years. Last year was the first time we experimented with pay-per-click. We've done a small number of banner ads. We do some.
By the way, how big, Brett, was that experiment? You're talking like $5,000 experiment, $10,000, what?
Oh no, we ended up doing. Try to think here. No, more than that.
Okay.
We ran it for a while. We really tried in earnest to make it work, and it wasn't an abject failure, but it definitely was not something that we thought, yes, this is fantastic.
So when you were doing that, obviously you have the data. What was your CAC? Like, what were you paying for a new customer on that paid spend? Obviously it didn't work because you're not doing it anymore, but.
Right. The problem, honestly, is the numbers were such and our onboarding is such that we offer an unlimited free trial. So you only have to actually pay when you want to take your store live.
Yep.
So when you want to collect real dollars from real customers, because we're developers ourselves, we know that most developers, projects are not wrapping up in 14 days.
Sure.
Especially with what we do. So we have to sort of use proxy measurements to say, well, if a user is not logging in, then they're probably gone. But it is tricky. The acquisition cost per customer with that experiment was, honestly, I don't remember at this point, but it was not worth it.
What was it definitely north of?
I think it was definitely north of $100 or so.
Oh, got it. Okay, well, that's not horrendous at a $20 per month price point, right? You get payback in 5 months.
Yeah, it actually, It may have been much greater than that because our lifetime value is pretty solid and our churn is very low.
What's low churn, by the way? Like sub 2% per month?
Right around there.
Okay, that's logo churn or revenue churn?
That is. Can you?
Yeah. The reason I asked that is because if you lose one enterprise logo out of 1,600 customer or 100,000 customers, the percent logo churn will be really low. But if they make up 10% of your revenue, that's really high revenue churn.
Right. It's roughly the same again because we don't have any users even amongst our enterprise that constitutes so much that it.
So 2% is true for both logo churn and revenue churn per month. And you said pretty confidently that you have a very stable LTV. What is that, and how do you have such confidence in that metric?
We have confidence because it's been stable for
11 years
for a long time, but I would rather not share the exact number.
How do you calculate it? Like just for other people looking to calculate LTV for themselves?
We use KISS metrics and sort of use their calculation, which is, I believe, reasonably sort of standard, but we've also calculated it in different ways. And, even when we're running our own data and looking at different ways to calculate it, it's pretty consistent.
Okay.
Regardless of how we calculate.
I mean, the general inclination on the internet when people talk about LTV is they take 1 divided by their logo churn, so 0.02 means they stick with you for 50 months, multiplied by that $20 price point gives you an LTV of around $1,000. I mean, I know you don't want to say the specific number, but generally speaking, is that how you're calculating it? Something like that?
Yeah, roughly like that.
Okay, interesting. And no paid spend now today. It's all organic growth?
Yes. We've yeah. And again, we really haven't done much. So that is definitely an area where we know we can improve, and it's something that we've been focusing on a little bit more in 2017 and are doing more in 2018 as well.
Are you bootstrapped, Brett?
Yes, we are.
Oh, I love that, man. Congratulations. How have you resisted the urge to raise?
It's been easy, actually. We've found that once we started getting on people's radars, we are not big enough for certain types of investors, and we're too big for others. So what we need less than money would be the team that the money brings, and we tend to we don't really need the money.
Yeah.
So and we value what we have, and we definitely are concerned with the possibilities of major change, even if that might result in much more rapid growth.
Sure.
What's that growth really worth?
Yeah, sure. Last few questions here before we wrap up. You have two revenue streams, transaction kind of fee and SaaS model. Are they split 50-50 when you look at your last 12 months revenue, or is one way more significant than the other?
Good question. We've seen in the industry a number of different approaches to pricing with different e-commerce platforms. What we've seen and what we've discovered for ourselves, although we've never tried a more sort of freemium with only the transaction fees, but what we've seen from others and what we've done from our own math is that without some sort of minimum fee, it becomes very unworkable.
No, Brett, just to be clear, I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm just curious, over the past 12 months, what percent of the revenue has been from the fee versus the SaaS model?
The bulk is from the fee, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I'm sorry. No, the bulk is from the SaaS model.
Okay, that's what I've expected.
We considered a monthly fee, so I was thinking fee. The bulk is from the monthly fee, the SaaS model.
Got it.
We consider the transaction fee to be really just a way to make it fair.
Icing on the cake.
What we found before we had that was we had one user that was using 98% of our system resources and paying the same as everybody else. So our costs were going up, costs for all of our users were going up, and it just wasn't fair. So we found this to be a very equitable way that's easy to communicate.
Now, you said if the case that your SaaS model is really driving most of your business and the fee thing is just really, to be fair, I mean, if you got a minimum of 1,000 folks and the minimum price is caught $20 or around there, it's fair to say you guys are north of 20 grand per month, but less than 100 grand per month. Is that generally accurate?
Yes, that's the range.
Okay. Have you guys passed that nice $1 million per year number yet, or no? You think it'll happen this year?
Possibly.
You think so or no?
Realistically, probably not.
Okay. Maybe 2019. All right, Brett. Good stuff. And what are you currently, as a bootstrap company, I always like asking this, what are you currently growing at year over year?
I'd rather not share that.
Okay. And why is that? Is that because you're not, it makes you feel not good or what?
Well, I guess we'll just say the current growth has slowed a little bit.
But why not share that? But like, I love celebrating people like you that have bootstrapped. It's not about 100% year over year growth. It's about slow growth.
Certainly not.
Slow growth over time, building a business the right way. I mean, we need more people like you sharing that number so other people feel good about it.
Yeah. Well, in the early days, it was a much higher number. We sort of plateaued a little bit, and the growth is picking back up. So right now we're in a little bit of a weird place. We've done a lot of housekeeping. We're very old. So right now the growth is actually very low, single digit.
I mean, like less than 10% year over year.
Yeah.
But you're in full control, man. I mean, you're living the life.
Yeah. Well, and also, like I said, we're at that point where we've done a lot of housekeeping. We have a solid platform. Now it's just a matter of, okay, where are we going to take it from here? What are we going to do to get more people knowing about what we do?
Yep. All right. Let's wrap up here, Brett, with the famous 5. Quick answers here. Number 1, what is the last book that you read?
Ooh, last book was...
He's looking at his bookshelf.
You think I'd...
You don't remember?
My bookshelf's in the other room. I just finished one and I've already forgotten.
That's okay. We'll leave none there. Number 2, is there a CEO you're following or studying?
There's not, and I feel like a bad person for admitting that.
That's okay. Why do you feel so bad about everything? That's fine. Number 3, what's your favorite online tool for building a business?
For building a business, I favorite online tool is Follow Up Then.
Yep, Follow Up Then.
Love it.
It's a good one. Number 4, how many hours of sleep do you get every night?
7-ish.
That's pretty healthy. And what's your situation? Married, single, you have kids?
Married, 3 kids, and my oldest just hit her 50th state.
Traveled
on our way back. Yep, on our way back down from Canada.
That's amazing.
We travel most of the time.
And Brett, how old are you?
37.
37. Very good. Last question real quick. So, if someone came in and offered you $1 million for the business and nothing changed about the strategy, obviously that's hard to believe, but let's assume nothing changed. Would you sell the company or no?
No, not for that. Probably.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay, good. Last question. What do you wish your 20-year-old self knew?
Oh, trust my gut and just don't tolerate toxic people.
There you guys have it from Brett. Trust your gut. Don't tolerate toxic people. Founded Foxy it started off as Foxy Cart back in 2006. They've processed now over $2 billion in transaction volume. And while that number is impressive, most of their revenue actually comes from their SaaS model. They've got over 1,000 people, between 1,000 and 5,000, paying $20 or more per month. So doing between 20 grand a month and 100 grand per month. 2% logo churn per month, which is really low. That's actually super healthy. When they tested customer acquisition in a paid model, they spent about $100 to acquire a customer, actually north of $100 to acquire a customer. Lifetime value north of 50 months with that 2% churn. Healthy lifetime value somewhere around $1,000. They do their own calculations though on that with their team of 10 based remotely throughout the US and around the world. Brett, thank you for taking us to the top.
Thanks so much. Pleasure to be with you.